That was an epic, unmitigated disaster. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Sarah. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to another video. You are catching me on my way out the door to head to the gym to use the treadmill. And as much as I'd love to use the treadmill up here, if you think about it for more than about 2.5 seconds, you'll realize why nobody really likes an upstairs neighbor with a treadmill. That's okay. Apartment life, it is what it is. I like the gym. Gym's cool, so I'm gonna go head up there and use their treadmill so I can start Zwift Academy Run. Yes, Zwift Academy Run started a couple of days ago. I'm a few days late to the game, but that's okay. Life, priorities, and all of that. But I've been doing Zwift Academy Road for the past several weeks. I've just finished workout number 4 a few days ago, and now that Zwift Academy Run has started, I'm going to start the series on those workouts as well. If you haven't checked out any of those videos, please go ahead and do so. I go through each of the workouts, do them, and talk about how the intervals are structured. And in workout number 1, I'll link that up there. It's a getting started video. I talk a lot about how the Zwift Academies are structured and the premise behind them, the objective, the rules of engagement, and so on and so forth. So it gives you a lot of detail there. In terms of Zwift Academy Run, just to recap the objectives here, they're slightly different. Same format, however. It is an 8-week program, just like the Zwift Academy Road and the Zwift Academy Tri. You have to, in those 8 weeks, complete a series of workouts and events. So you have to complete 8 workouts, just like the other 2 academies. You can do them in any order you choose, but they are recommended in the order that they're prescribed. You could do them as either a group run, structured workout in one of the event series, or you can do it as a standalone that you can choose from the training menu of Zwift Academy or Zwift Run. In terms of the event, there are group runs and races. In this case, you only have to do a total of 2 in whatever configuration you want. 2 of the races, 2 of the group runs, or 1 of each. Because the Zwift Run platform is a little more pared down than the cycling platform, the requirement for completion is a little bit less, which makes a lot of sense if you really think about it. There are also grand prizes available. There are actually 6 of them in terms of Zwift Run. They want to get more people engaged on the platform, and this is very similar to Zwift Academy Tri, if you're familiar with that series. They pick 6 grand prize winners and they offer them up professional world-class level training to qualify for championship level events. In this case for running, they qualify and compete in the Berlin Marathon, which is a very prestigious run for those of you who are avid runners. So this is a really cool opportunity for those of you who are out there that are good runners, strong runners, and really into some opportunity to travel abroad, or if you're in the European area, not so much abroad, but to a prestigious marathon. The other cool thing about it is that Zwift Running is not a very highly populated platform. Zwift Running is never going to be what Zwift Cycling is. It will never be as immersive as the cycling platform because of the inability to really get a whole lot of smart immersion with running. Even though the technology would be capable of making a smart trainer, I have a feeling that Zwift will not fully implement that because of the safety and liability concerns. Trying to change somebody's terrain or elevation or their speed, and they're not prepared for it or not trained properly for it, or if there's some kind of technological breakdown in the system, somebody could be seriously hurt. So I don't know if that will ever be implemented. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just is not as immersive. Free running on Zwift is really just not that interesting. You're just staring at your avatar in front of you. I guess it's a little prettier than the treadmill, but it's just not as enticing. So it's not something that is really sold to standalone runners. I'm sure some people use it if they do a lot of treadmill running, but it's more of an add-on for us cyclists and triathletes. It's just an extra, it's a bonus, it's something that we can use on top of what we're paying for cycling. What it is good for, however, is structured training. I think the heads-up readout and the graphical user interface is fantastic for those of you who do interval training on your treadmill. Instead of having to stare at your watch or remember the intervals, you've got everything at a glance. Your avatar is moving, you've got your heart rate, you've got your pace, you can see the arch when the interval is coming, so you can start preparing your treadmill, start preparing your form. So it's really cool for that. And you can program in your own workouts, so I think it's a great platform in that regard. The one criticism I have had is the lack of workouts that are available for you. Sometimes you just want to get on, choose a workout from a menu, and there just have not been that many. The plans available have some good workouts in them, but that means you have to join the plan, follow them in order, and you don't just get to cherry pick. They haven't moved those over to the menu. But now that we have Zwift Academy Run available, that's going to throw in 8 new workouts into the menu that you can use, and I think they look like pretty good workouts. So it's good for everybody who uses the platform, whether or not you are going to be engaged in Zwift Academy 2020. But I'm going to go check out workout number 1. I'm going to let you know how it goes, and then I'll come back and recap. All right, let's go. unmitigated disaster. It was just awful, and it had nothing to do with Zwift or the academy or the workout, nothing. I mean, I knew going into this that I was going to be a little bit off the pace because I'm still building back into running. I took a year off almost. I broke my shoulder really badly on Thanksgiving of last year. Cracked right through the humerus, and it's just taken a while to regain the stability and the ability to deal with impact. So I wasn't expecting, PR numbers, and I was going to be a little bit off the pace, and I was okay with that. And I did a hard bike today, so getting on the treadmill in that regard was going to be a little bit difficult. I was prepared for that, but it was a disaster, not because of me, not because of Zwift, but because of this. The mask. This isn't going to be an anti-mask rant. This is just how completely unprepared I was for the difficulty in running indoors on a treadmill with no ventilation while wearing a mask. I mean, I've run with the mask or a buff before outside, and it really isn't that bad. But you're moving through space, which is pushing air through the fabric. Even though with the most breathable medical grade mask that I can get my hands on, I wasn't able to get air in. I literally had my mouth up against the fabric trying to suck air in, not letting it passively enter into my lungs. No diaphragmatic breathing here. It was literally sucking air through a straw the entire time. And in turn, that drove my heart rate way up. It gave me very bad side stitches, which I get from shallow breathing. And it was pretty tough. I just was not prepared for that. I'm not entirely sure that I'm going to finish the Zwift Run series only because of the beginning of the Tri series. It starts on the 27th, so that's 9 days from now, and I'll still be finishing the Zwift Road series. So having 3 series run at the same time and trying to hit all those workouts may or may not be reasonable for me. So I had expected maybe I'd drop some of these run workouts, but now I'm going to have to think of an alternative. I don't know that I'm going to be able to continue to do these workouts, which are difficult, with the mask on at the gym. I mean, I might be able to go when there's nobody there. There's a women's only area where it's kind of walled off a little bit, and you can see if anybody comes in or out. And then if nobody's in there, I could just pull the mask down and have it available if anybody comes up, and clean my equipment and be safe in that regard. I guess I could do them outside. I'd have to memorize the workout and just put Zwift in my pocket and hook it up to my Stride foot pod, and then listen for the audible cues and just know what paces and then match them from my watch. Not really doing it on the treadmill, but it's probably even more difficult to keep those paces on the road instead of the treadmill assist. I don't know how amenable the weather is going to be to working outside. I mean, we're reaching the end of October here in Western New York. It starts to get cold and pretty damn windy and wet around here. But that's an option. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find some place where I can use a treadmill privately, where I don't have to wear a mask, or find a place where I could be more ventilated. I'm going to have to give some thought. I'm just going to have to really think about it. I mean, for you guys, if you haven't been on a treadmill at a gym since the beginning of COVID, I'm going to warn you, the mask does make it difficult. I mean, maybe if I was in better run condition, this would have gone better, but I don't think it would have gone better by a ton. The air just wasn't coming in. You just can't get air. It just makes you a little panicky, makes your breathing a little bit weird. So be prepared for that. Maybe you've got a better alternative. I've looked at other masks for the gym, and I don't think anything's going to be better than that really breathable medical grade mask. Everything else is going to be cotton and on your mouth. It's going to be right up against your face. No room there. But I'm going to stop complaining about that. I'm going to just talk about the actual workout because I think they did a really good job with this one. I would have really enjoyed it if I could have done it here or somewhere privately or not had to wear the mask. It would have been much better. So it's a 45-minute workout. And the way that Zwift creates your intervals, if you haven't used the run feature before, is that it builds it out in your miles per hour or kilometers per hour if you're in metric, so that it can translate to what you're going to set your treadmill as, because most treadmills are not set in minutes per mile, they are set in miles per hour. So it'll tell you where to set your treadmill. And the way that it generates that data in your zones is that it asks you for your known times. So your known mile time, 5K time, 10K time, half marathon time, and marathon time. You don't need all of those. You can pick 1, 3, but the more you have, the better it dials in your zone data. So once you feed those in, it can work backwards and know your zone paces, and then translate those into miles or kilometers per hour so that you can adjust your treadmill accordingly. So the way that this workout is structured is that you start with an 8-minute warm-up. It's in your zone 1 or 2. It's going to be about 70% of your 10K pace. There's a little bit of ascending in there, but it's really only fractions of a mile per hour. It's just slowly speeding up your legs like a tenth of a mile an hour every minute, so that you're just starting to warm up those legs, move them just a little bit quicker, and that's going to run for 8 total minutes. Then you're going to go to 4 minutes at 90% of your 10K pace. That should be in your kind of zone 3 tempo zone for most people, but it's going to be achievable, but maybe just slightly uncomfortable. Your heart rate and breathing are not going to be as conversational. Then you're going to dip down to 1 minute at 73% of your 10K pace for your recovery, so kind of like a jogging or easy run pace. Then 4 minutes at 93% of your 10K pace. So this is starting to tickle upper tempo into threshold. Then a minute recovery at that 70% of 10K pace, or 73% of 10K pace. Then you're going to jump back up to one more 4-minute effort, and this is going to be at 96% of your 10K pace. So this is, again, getting a little further into maybe your high tempo and threshold. And then you're going to get a minute and 30 seconds rest this time at 70% of your 10K pace. Then you're going to move into your working set, which is going to work at your 5K pace, or I think it's 103% of your 10K pace, and that translates to your 5K pace. So these are all going to be the same intervals. They're going to be 6 by a minute and 30 seconds at your 5K pace, and then a minute of rest at about 70% of that 10K pace. So minute 30 on, 1 minute off, times 6. After you're done with that, you move into a 6-minute and 30-second cool down, starting at that, basically that last 1 minute off just feeds directly into the same pace for your cool down. It descends a little bit for that 6 minutes and 30 seconds, and then you're pretty much done, and then you can walk it out afterwards if you want to extend out a little bit, but that makes a total of 45 minutes. So I think that it's a great workout, short rests. It gives you a little bit of time to recover and reset, bring the heart rate down a little bit, especially if you don't typically work at your 5K pace. You're not going to burn your heart out of your chest by pushing too much. Minute and 30 on, 90 seconds is really not that difficult to achieve. It's going to be challenging, but you know that you've got that minute of recovery on the other side. So I think it's a great workout. 45 minutes, you're in and out, you're done. I would definitely recommend checking it out. They really did a good job with this. It's just unfortunate that we're in the situation that we are in, but that's okay, because I'd much rather be taking care of myself and the people around me by wearing a mask than really hit all my stars on a Zwift Academy workout. I mean, it's just kind of small potatoes, but just something that I want you guys to be prepared for, because I was just not. So, but great job to the Zwift Academy Run. I think that first workout was great, and if the next 7 are anything like it, they're definitely worthwhile. If you've got a treadmill at home and you're a runner, definitely check this out. Sign up for the Academy, graduate, get yourself hooked up with that grand prize. I mean, it's a very small field, so your chances of winning are pretty damn high. But at any rate, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have a chance, please hit that like button. It really does help the channel and the video out quite a bit. Subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.